What is it like to put on a makeup for 8 hours? This is the daily life of some actors in Hollywood. For example, the Vision in the Marvel movie needs to wear uncomfortable costumes and makeup for 6 hours. Big Cousin's Mystique isn't much better. Some people even wore super tights, and their balls were almost crushed. Let's go, the most painful costumes worn by actors. Number 13. Flyman. Jeff Goldblum is best known for his performances in movies like Jurassic Park and Independence Day, but in 1986 he played a different character in the horror flick The Fly, which brought his character to life by transforming him into a grotesque human insect. The costume took 5 hours to make, but Jeff wasn't complaining, and although it was uncomfortable, he decided to live with it. His special effects outfit was created by Oscar's makeup artist Chris, which was a painstaking process that took 5 hours. Number 12. Spider Suit. Tom Holland's Spider-Man might be the coolest on screen, but in reality, the bodysuit caused him quite a bit of trouble. The spider suit is one of the most famous costumes in comics history, but what most people don't know is that it can be uncomfortable. The suit was custom made for Tom and fit every inch of his body, so he couldn't breathe normally and would sweat and dehydrate a lot when wrapped in it. For the convenience of shooting, he will not take off his headgear when he is thirsty. There is a hole under the eye socket of the headgear, and it is through this tube that he drinks water. The most difficult thing is when he is in a hurry. Tom needs to take off the whole set of clothes every time, which is very time-consuming, and it may take 50 minutes to go back and forth. That's the reality of Spider-Man, and it looks amazing, but if he gets an itch, it's deadly. He can't scratch any itchy spots, can only poke himself with sharp objects, can't play with his phone, and has great difficulty talking. If you also like this kind of video, don't forget to click the free like and follow. You will get good luck for a whole year. Try it out now. Number 11. Robot C-3PO. Anthony Daniels is undoubtedly one of the legends of Star Wars. He played the role of a robot butler in it. For the past 43 years, he has played the beloved statuette C-3PO in the Star Wars movies. It is not an easy task to wear this metal clothing. The shell of this prop weighs 60 caddies and is made of metal and rubber. It needs to be worn with the help of the staff and fixed with 4 screws. It takes about an hour to wear it once. Due to the many restrictions of prop costumes, multiple movements would cause deformation and hurt his feet, and the wearing process was time-consuming and laborious, so they had to choose to wear props to transition. With the update of technology, the costumes are becoming more and more advanced, and the wearing time is getting shorter and shorter, but we can't forget his dedicated performance every time. The 10th, Vision. Paul Bettany's Vision may have one of the coolest costumes in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but according to him, the visual leotard was a pain in the ass because it was so tight it hit his balls at one point. Despite the discomfort, Paul cherishes such a hard-earned and iconic role. Paul has been performing in makeup for far longer than any Marvel movie performer, and this has also led to Paul's performance process being miserable. It took 3.5 hours just to put on the jersey, and another 10 hours on the set of the show. After a set of movements, the sweat accumulated inside can almost raise fish. He once stated that he would rather be naked than put on that suit because he might die from the heat. Number 9. Black Panther. Black Panther, played by Chadwick Boseman, is a very handsome character in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. His portrayal of the Black Panther show was quite successful, but it was also thanks to the costumes that won. The King of Wakanda looked like a force to be reckoned with, but the costume proved to be no walk in the park. In an interview, he said that this shirt has many limitations and even suffocated him in some scenes. Considering the amount of vibranium used in Wakanda to make it bulletproof, it's not surprising that the suit would feel uncomfortable. Despite initial discomfort, he eventually settled into wearing the Panthers jersey. But unfortunately, Boseman passed away unexpectedly, and he was never able to wear the suit again. However, his iconic role and its performance in the film will always remain in our hearts. Number 8. Catwoman. Catwoman, played by Michelle Pfeiffer, is very sexy and full of fighting spirit. But in reality, the skin-tight outfit doesn't add much to Miss Pfeiffer's combat effectiveness. In fact, the tights were even a nightmare. In an interview with The Hollywood Reporter, she revealed that the suit was so tight she had to crawl in and sew it up. making it the most uncomfortable outfit she's ever worn. She admitted that she didn't even dare to make big movements or breathe hard for fear of the clothes falling apart. And Hathaway, who also played Catwoman, also said how scary it was to put on this shirt. It is so difficult for people with such excellent figures like them, it may be even more difficult for ordinary people to wear. Number 7. Batman. Batman, played by Ben Affleck, is so handsome, he can be called a female killer, Dawn of Justice. But even such a rich and handsome guy would be unhappy in reality because of his uncomfortable shirt. In order to make it easier to take off his shirt, he had to modify the shirt. One of the most difficult parts of the suit to put on is the head mask, which is made of a tough, leather-like material that is almost impossible to wear. And it's attached directly to the cloak, a design that severely limits his range of motion, and he can't move his head without turning his entire body. Of course, this isn't the only problem Batman showrunners have had. Generations of Batman have said it's really a tough ride, but they're having fun doing it. Number 6. Mystique. Jennifer Lawrence's Mystique in the X-Men series is impressive and cool. But in reality, the suit caused her a lot of trouble. First of all, the makeup team needs to apply a layer of blue makeup for the Oscar-winning actress. The bodysuit was then put on before covering her body in blue paint, a process that would take a staggering 6 hours. But that's not all. Special effects makeup and a leotard meant Lawrence couldn't sit down during the show. Of course, peeing was also a tough thing for her. She had to tackle it standing up, and also needed to combine it with a small funnel. Importantly, clothing also produces a distinctive odor that is suffocating. But despite this, Lawrence still said that in the next performances, she will work harder. Number 5. Chewbacca. Chewbacca, played by Peter Mayhew, is a classic character in the Star Wars series and one of the most iconic characters in movie history. However, his journey into Chewbacca's costume was nothing short of a war. In fact, Mayhew called the costume so smelly, itchy, and bumpy that he could only wear it for an hour at a time. Costume supervisors revealed that the costumes were identical to Chewbacca's original costume, which was even more challenging for the actor. They tried to make an anti-itch bodysuit but gave up because it didn't work out well. After enduring nearly 40 years of uncomfortable clothing, he even suffered from heat stroke because it was too hot, but he still has no regrets. Number 4. Hulk. Mark Ruffalo's Marvel Hulk has become one of the most recognizable movie characters in history. But that doesn't mean it's easy, and the fact that Ruffalo had to wear a light-colored bodysuit that compresses certain male areas in order to play the role. It's not a flattering look, which makes him a laughingstock. According to him, all the actors would laugh at him at first because they were wearing cool superhero costumes and he was wearing ridiculous pajamas that made him look like a checker. However, Ruffalo didn't let the suit let him down. He pushed forward, and eventually he created Dr. Banner to win hearts and minds. Number 3. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles have been a major part of pop culture for decades, with their comic book series and animated TV show first becoming popular in the 1980s and 1990s. In 1990, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles hit the big screen for the first time, and the movie was a huge hit. The costumes worn by the actors to play the tortoise were not at all comfortable, and it took them 18 weeks to get used to, with each costume weighing around 60 pounds. The animatronics added weight, but also helped to make the turtles' movements more realistic. However, actors found that these costumes were very heavy and affected their mobility. What's more, the costumes are also very hot, and the actors can only wear them for a short time, and then need to take a break before continuing. Despite the cooling system and air vents, it's just too uncomfortable. The person playing Raphael even suffered from claustrophobia. Number 2. Lord of Darkness. Tim Curry's role as the Dark Lord in the 1985 film Saga was a tough one. Curry signed up for the role before the character's final design was ready. He expressed surprise when he realized his face would be covered in a lot of gel. But as a professional actor, he decided to continue playing the role. The costume is no joke, initially requiring 8 hours a day, which was later reduced to just 5.5 hours. Can you imagine sitting still for hours while people work on your face and body? Not only did his face need to be changed, but his hands also needed to be covered with devilish nails and skin. and he had to carry large glass horns tens of centimeters long. The horns were originally designed to be too heavy and were later downsized to avoid back strain. The hardest thing was after the shoot, Curry had to take an hour in the shower to remove all the adhesive on his face and body. Number 1. Voldemort. Voldemort is played by veteran British actor Ralph Fiennes. In that magical era, Voldemort was almost our shadow. He has always been an almost invincible existence in the movie, but with such a brilliant performance, it is sad that people don't know. She wears white latex makeup on her eyebrows and wears dentures. At first, it took a lot of time to do his makeup, but he admitted that he hated it so much that if he needed to do special makeup in the future, he would consider turning down the role. In this regard, the team had no choice but to shorten the makeup time as much as possible, but Fiennes still needed to spend 2 hours each time for makeup, which made him miserable. In the entire series, Fiennes did all the makeup, less than 70 times. Compared with other actors, his makeup time is very little. These costumes are painful enough. Who is the most uncomfortable? Welcome to write your opinion in the comment area. I am the director. Thank you for watching. See you next time.